let's get cracking. If everyone can just mute while everyone's muted themselves. So thank you. You know the webinar spiel. I'll let some more people in as we go. And also it's a Friday, so thanks everyone for that. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked with what we're going to cover off today. Well, I'm just going to introduce Akin and the team and talk to it, but we've been talking on and off probably for about a year, Akin, and I'm really excited where this could head, and I've been keeping an eye on who's doing what, and yeah, the MineGuard team, I think, yeah, have some pretty cool, exciting things to do and share, which is one of the things today.
Thanks, Christian.
No worries, mate. So if we jump to the next one, mate, and you could maybe introduce yourself, and then I'll do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hi, team. My name is Akin Raiden. I'm the director of MineGuard AI. Also, basically mining engineering background. I've been in operations for the last 15 years of mining operations, and have experience in leading and involving in ICAMs and investigations in multiple of those companies on the screen. Beyond that, I also work as an acting SSE, but with the AI becoming more and more useful, I'm now chasing the opportunity to actually help people in safety and safety applications. We also have Jem on the line. He's our technical director. He's the genius behind the scene. Thanks a lot for Jem as well joining this conversation.
Yeah, all good. So yeah, I'm the technical director of MineGuard AI. Yeah, I have like more than 20 years of experience in software engineering and leadership. So yeah, we started this MineGuard AI a couple of years ago as an idea, and we're here now. Yeah, my strengths are around software strategy and building effective teams, as well as software development background. So yeah.
Cool. And then I'll round that out. So I think most of you know me on the line. So been almost 25 years now in mining safety. And yeah, for a lot of different players doing lots of different things. And you know, as I shared at the start, always been keeping an eye out for the application in the future of software and what it could look like with this thing called AI coming along. Was interested, and what Akin and Jem will walk us through today is pretty exciting. And these guys are both geniuses in this area. We had a session a week ago and I got lost, but these guys are right in the detail, but we had some really good conversations about process and then how we can do that. So that's it from me. I'll hand over to yourself, Akin and team, and let's get into it.
No problem. Thanks, Christian. So today we'll talk about how we can save time and actually produce high quality investigations with less human bias with the help of AI. So basically, we will look at capturing the right evidence and how AI can help us in that process. How do we actually focus on the data more than human bias in our investigations when we are using an AI tool? And also, how can we frame our investigation tools so we actually get to the organizational learnings quicker and effectively, and we can actually implement actions across the organizations that would solve a lot of safety gaps from investigations that we have. So the next 60 minutes or thereabouts, we will actually go through some challenges in investigations, some traps, and then we will look at the live demo of a full investigation process at Incident AI, our product. During the demo, we'll go through the timeline builder, 5Y builder, and how we actually use the tool to check biases and also verify the outcomes of the AI, which is a key aspect of using AI as assistant. And then we have an offer for anyone that's interested to jump on board and try the tool. We would love to get your feedback and also have you have you go at it. And then any questions, please, let's catch up at the end. So
Sorry, mate, just on questions, guys, there's a lot of content, so maybe throw it in the chat and log that for the end. We do have a hard stop, unfortunately, I've got to get on plane, but any questions that aren't answered, then we'll get them back to you. Also, copies of the slide pack and recording and all that. All right, back to you, mate.
That's all good, man. Thank you. Yeah, so basically this tool is for incidents. If you're having more than 10 incidents a year, thereabouts, it is very helpful to have something that helps you go through that process. If you have a commitment to actually improve safety, this tool will help. And also some openness and eagerness to try technology. If that's not you, that's still okay. Please enjoy the webinar, and it's going to be a fun one. Quick check on the chat. If you could drop your current investigation process. So basically just type red, yellow, or green on the chat, please. How do you find your own process? Do you feel the time traps around challenging processes, long time frames, and I guess resource limitations? Yes, a lot of yellows are coming in. Red and yellow changes depending on investigation type. But as far as I can understand, obviously, these processes can be quite tiresome and complicated at times, and also depends on a lot of other people to provide the right data and collect the right data. And therefore, yeah, I totally understand a lot of yellows and reds on the chat. Yeah, I appreciate it. Let's see how we can make them a bit closer to green. Obviously, at the time traps, we'll focus on just 3 today, and then try to show that in the demonstration to trying to solve those traps. Obviously, for example, when the supervisor under pressure, they can miss critical on-scene questions or data collection. That's one of the key challenges that we see in most of the industries. But I guess the opportunity with AI now is we can flip that pretty quickly with just a mobile capture of the photos and the witness statements directly into the tool. We can get a detailed discrepancy checker, which helps the supervisor then conduct a more in-depth interview within the next 30 minutes from the incident, if that incident allows it to do, obviously. But that gives a really high chance for supervisor to basically think more proactively between their really busy jobs and collect the right data at the right time to actually deepen the investigation and set the investigation for success. Next time trap, obviously, when we collect data for investigations and evidence, we collect a lot of evidence at the moment. Basically, we are quite data rich in most industries that we work in. There's multiple sources of data that is relevant to our incidents, and we try to collect all of them. But obviously, capturing all of that information and then making something reasonable from all of the information takes a lot of time. It's a lot of reading and analyzing and also then convincing others in the cross-section. So we will have a look at how we can solve this as well in the demonstration.
And I'm sure no one on the line has ever experienced that, Akin.
No, never.
No, I'm sure no one has suffered from that.
No, I appreciate that. And the other one I'd like to touch on today, before we get into the demonstration, is, I guess, we see that some of the root cause sessions or investigation meetings end up with the bias of who has the loudest voice in the room. So that's one example, but I guess we are also sometimes quite defensive of our own investigations, of our own backyards, and we tend to not challenge deep enough in regards to organizational factors, for example. And I guess the tool, we have the chance now to actually set up a tool to help us break those barriers. And I guess the question that I'd like to ask to the chat as well at the moment. If you could tell me which one would you prefer, if you had the choice of two, would you prefer a data bias, or would you prefer human bias in your investigations? Just if you could type human or data bias. Obviously, data bias is also dangerous if the data is not adequate, and we'll go through that in the tool.
That's a good question, mate. Give everyone a second there. And I wonder about those occasions where people investigate their own backyards, which can happen as well.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, a couple of data biases in one human. That's a good question, and depends on the investigation, I guess. But let's kick off into our setting for the demonstration soon. So how the incident AI loop works is it actually captures the evidence from our uploads in regards to the incident, and then runs its own tools about discrepancy timelines, and there's also analysis tools inside for ICAM tables, and finding contributing factors and organizational learnings. But while doing this process, it actually also teaches and coaches the investigator on a process, because the process is quite defined. Unlike your current, for example, agents or ChatGPTs, we believe as MineGuard AI, especially investigation tools, should be bounded with workflows and controlled environments, so people don't just use their own prompts to get the results they want. So we put a lot of effort to make sure that there's a nice, clear workflow, that the tool actually teaches also the lead investigators how to get a better outcome, which also reduces the training time for investigators on sites. So today we'll go through an excavation incident. So I'll now run through some of the evidence. It is an open cut mine that we're going to look at today, and after a blasting event, excavator operator goes back to work on an adjacent pit, and a rockfall event occurs onto the excavator, and obviously equipment damage, but also the person gets injured lightly on their leg. So we have multiple witness statements. We have OC report, take 5, geotechnical report, and a blasting report that we'll upload, and then we'll look at the results together. So before I open the tool, I would love to show some of the examples of the witness statements. So as you can see, these are quite poorly written, handwritten statements from the people involved. And I am very proud that the tool can actually read my own handwriting. So that shows that and proves that it can read most handwritings. We also have a Take 5 booklet that's not loading at the moment, but it's also handwritten basically. And now we will upload these ones after we log into the tool. Look. Okay.
I think the test would be, mate, if it could read a doctor's handwritten scripts. I think that's the final test.
Yeah, I think Jen tell us more about this, but the statistics shows that the AI can understand handwritten text now better than human capability. So that's a good enabler for us to use this technology. So Incident AI is a web-based tool, and we use a lot of security measures in these tools. It's actually running on incident-ai.com, and basically you get your login, and there's significant data security measures, obviously handling sensitive information. I will now upload my authorization code, MFA code. Just waiting for that. And the first page that comes up is the main page for all of your current working cases of incidents. And these summaries occur automatically from your evidence. You don't have to type anything. You just basically type a new case. Rockfall webinar. And you have the option to share it with your group, company, or just a private incident in any of the options you choose. And then this page comes up, which is the main page for Incident AI case. On the right top hand side, we have basically settings. These settings provide the initial instruction for AI. And it is important to set these up right in your trials if you get to try this tool. And these are quite customizable for trials. We allow for any industries and any type of commodities in our trials. And obviously, when we deploy the tool, these settings disappear, and we actually put significant amount of context in regards to your organization and your site to get the best terminology and language into your investigation outputs. Basically, you can upload any type of files, including PDF, Word, and images and voice and video. The tool actually transcribes behind the scenes all of this information back to a text file that AI can understand. So that's where the magic happens. And it can also easily do two-way radio conversations, for example, or images. Image understanding is enabled as well. And you can upload basically any type of evidence, procedures, witness statements, risk assessments about the incident.
Yep, just here, what's happening in the background is when the files are uploaded, there's going to be like a significant amount of processing to refine the files, split, resize, or compress so that the generative AI can do a better job processing and returning the transcriptions, the content of the files, the main services doing that, and then the generative AI brings up the transcriptions from the files so that it can be fed to actual investigation output and results.
Thanks, Jim. So I just wanted to basically show a case where you would have incident AI in the hands of supervisors on site, for example, or whoever is actually leading the job on site, or starting the initial investigation data collection around the incident. And the tool gives an opportunity to for that person to actually just upload a couple of photos of the incident, but also maybe a couple of statements to get the investigation started. And that's very powerful because this information then gives you, for example, next couple of tools that we'll try here gives you the discrepancy across those statements straight away. And having that tool for the supervisor at 3 a.m. in the morning is fantastic. Instead of him trying to actually collate information. What usually happens in those situations, we expect supervisors to collect evidence, but we don't necessarily support them with tools, and they are quite time poor. So a lot of our customers love this aspect of actually enabling the frontline to deepen the investigation from the start. Obviously, as it's a live demo, it usually takes longer than it does.
Yeah, on that note, actually, it's because the first time the evidences are uploaded, the information is not yet in the database for the first thing, and it's also not in the cache of the language model.
Yeah.
So after the first run, it'll be significantly faster
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Jim.
because it will be using the cache data. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. And as you can see, it gives us a very quick brief that we can copy paste into our basic initial event reports. How often we get, half-baked incident initial brief reports. Let's have a look at the discrepancy tool. So this tool basically looks at those 4 statements immediately after the investigation and comes up with some, I guess, challenges against that data. And we like the fact that the tool is used quite iteratively because it is so easy to upload and rerun cases. As you get more evidence, it is really important to actually keep running it to learn more about the data that you edit. Because what we're finding is if you actually use these tools incrementally, you have a better understanding of the data that you're providing to AI. So basically, just from those 4 statements, we just got back the timing discrepancies, location, communication discrepancies, observations, injury, equipment damage, and blast procedure. So that's a quick summary for the supervisor to go through. And we normally, for example, provide we normally provide just the supervisors an interview template, but that doesn't actually have relevant questions about the incident. So with this tool, we can actually provide the frontline the right questions to ask. And that's very powerful because while the witnesses are in the room, you can still conduct these conversations and record them and then upload them as well. So this tool itself does actually find out who is involved from those witness statements and ask relevant questions considering those discrepancies. We normally, as I do my investigations, I really like to generate my people as early as possible to guide the investigation and set the investigation for success. It's the same thing with this tool. So we highly like this tool when we actually get, what we currently have in the statements, but also this is extremely handy for supervisors to understand what else to collect and drop it in the evidence folder straight away. So for example, the tool tells us further data is required. Obviously not all of this data is available at every site in this detail, but at least you can find out the ones that you have to continue in the investigation. So at this point, I would basically look at uploading additional information. This could be the next day or the day after, depending on your priorities. But basically, opportunity is now to upload the additional information as well as the answers to those questions that we asked. Yep. And the power of the tool again is you can just resubmit and rerun the people with this additional information. Obviously, like in the start of the case, this step will take the longest, as Jem explained, because it is doing the magic behind the scenes of preparing the data for AI and then also caching and securing it in our servers, which includes a lot of encryption. So there's multi-level encryption implemented in the tool, which means the files are encrypted, but also they're encrypted to the field level, so individual levels of encryption. And that encryption happens in at rest on our secure servers in Singapore, but also across when it's using other AI tools where we have zero data retention agreements with the AI tools that we use. And those measures gets us basically the cybersecurity approvals that we work with most of our mine site partners.
A quick note about the encryption. So tool-level encryption refers to the infrastructure encryption at the database level. So it's around the database as a whole is being encrypted so that it's not accessible from the external agents. The second level is field level encryption for the sensitive data. And that sensitive data includes everything from even the title of the case to the results, like the transcriptions or the contents of the file, and anything in between. So even us aren't able to see the data as it is, unless it's decrypted with additional effort on our side, and it's entirely encrypted to the external world. And also the files themselves aren't saved at all. It's just their content, that the transcription are saved and encrypted in a double way.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. While you explained that, I just jumped into this extended PIPO with additional data provided by AI and started actually editing this. So for this case, I was the SSE, for example, on site. It's not on the evidence files, obviously, because you probably don't need to have that. But just for the sake of the case, you can actually edit all of these information, and that is the only way. You don't need to edit it fully, but editing is recommended because this is an AI assistant. It is not a human replacement tool. So when you save a version, it saves that editing. And if you'd like to basically flag this for reporting or approval, this is the button that we choose. And it's in our design that every output needs to be approved by a human with the timestamp and the user access details, which gets then also published in our final report. It is an important step in our design that it is a human enhancing tool with just basically supporting the human to do most of the admin work and analysis work. And the final outputs are always human approved. So now we're heading into the analysis side of things, and timeline and FIFI is one of the most used, I guess, investigation methods, especially for lower level incidents in most industries, and how quick it is to actually get 10, 12 files to be analyzed. And the tool itself actually not just gives the events, but also finds the work is intended if there are procedures uploaded. And if you have missed to upload all the procedures, you can actually go edit mode and update those a few that doesn't have references. The tool finds the planning stage before the events, also the event steps, but then also the emergency response. So quite a detailed output. In the timeline 5.5 part of it, we have these assistant markers of percentages. That is the confidence level of the AI relevant to the data provided. Obviously, reasoning multiple times for an AI system is challenging if it doesn't have enough information. So these numbers tell us if they're getting higher and higher as you upload files and evidences, that means you're on the right path in regards to your reasoning for finding the whys. And The output size and detail can be adjusted. At the moment, we have maximized it for this demonstration, so it's actually picking up a lot of Ys, but obviously to your procedures and risk levels and an organizational culture, the outputs can be adjusted to be more manageable. Next tool is an ICAM table, basically your typical ICAM table. At the moment, we use a certain ICAM code for this tool to also assign ICAM codes automatically, because the next tool that we're building will be the incident analysis dashboard inside Incident AI, which will look at all of your finalized ICAMs and start doing analytics and reporting for multiple incidents you choose. So it could, for example, say, write me a report for the last quarter's incidents and trends, and it will also have some predictive, I guess, support. Yeah, so we have the findings here from AI, and you have your individual team actions, task, organizational factors, quite detailed. And again, we can always limit these outputs to maximum 4, maximum 3 to make it more digestible. But the power of the tool is there to produce as much as you want in detail. And the editing functionality is very helpful. I like the tool because I can just go and delete the ones that are not relevant, and you get to the bottom of the investigation pretty quickly. Let me just flag this for reporting as well. And in contributing factors, very similar to the 5 Ys, the tool will assign its relevant rating, which means we don't limit the tool to have limitations on the number of contributing factors it can generate and find about the incident. We tell them find all potential contributing factors and then rate them relevant to the data, which helps because as you iterate the investigation and rerun these tools, you'll find, for example, insufficient consideration of the recent weather events. Is that really a thing? There's only like one data point. Should I just go and catch up with other people to confirm that? So these lower ones actually gives us a bit of an indication of what else to investigate before we finalize the investigation. And the higher ones show the higher, I guess, unity of the data, where the data is pushing us towards a conclusion about the incident. Let's save this as well because I'd love to show you the PDF output. Root causes, it's an interesting one. We designed it to have at least minimum 2 root causes for the users to go and choose the right ones. Sometimes you have 1, sometimes you have 2 in a typical ICAM. So that's why we kind of ask the tool to produce 2. And in this occasion, I would probably choose this one because there wasn't enough, I guess, collaboration and geotechnical assessment before going back to work after that blasting nearby. And let's select this as well. Normally you would edit these ones, make sure you're happy with them. And organizational factors, we really trained the AI to find and push ourselves for actually determining what can we change in the organization. So we actually have a broader impact on the safety from safety culture and outcome from this just one investigation. Obviously, it will generate many organizational learnings, and it's up to, I guess, us, the humans running this tool, to choose. And obviously, it is such a good idea to actually run through an incident AI workflow with the cross-section, so you're not losing that discussion and debate about the incident, and then finalizing these pages together with the cross-section is always a good idea, depending on the level of the incident. what we're also finding is most of our customers are actually looking at using the tool for lower level incidents as well, because it's so easy to use. If you have a couple of statements, why not use it for your lower level incidents and hazards and HPIs? So yeah, so we do have some really smart actions coming through that we can assign to people in our action databases as part of the incident. Again, I would probably reduce some of these because you don't want to have probably this many action typically, but it gives us a really good chance of capturing the right ones. So that's the end of the analysis part. So if you would like to generate a report, obviously this report will only capture the ones that we have reviewed and approved. Let's refresh that. Basically, it's a nice report format. And as I mentioned, it has timestamps and people for each review of each output is captured, which is our human approval mindset in our design work for the tool. ICAM analysis is clearly produced. Contributing factors are listed. Key learnings are stated. And the PPO is also attached.
It's much more readable when you view it as a PDF as well.
Yeah, you can
on
just
paper
download
form,
PDF. Yep, which is pretty handy. Let's try to go back to the tool. And we also have another tool that I won't touch in this webinar, but you can actually run the tool to evaluate itself, which generates a PDCA cycle for your investigation. So you can constantly come back to this tool and find out what's missing about your output, your approved flagged outputs, and it gives you that feedback, instant feedback of your investigation output. Going back to the presentation, there's a few more slides that I'd like to cover before we get to the questions.
I might just jump in there, mate, just quickly like that. So I've only used and played around with that QA check, but you know, if we think about the use case there, you can, any historical ICAMs or ICAMs done outside of the system, you can just upload into here, either the ICAM itself, and it can do its QA discrepancy check, or you can do the ICAM with the data. That's correct?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So you can also use the tool to actually analyze your past ICAMs. And with with our customers, we also provide services to include your past investigations up to whatever time frame you would like. That means we can actually upload your past incidents into Incident AI, which gives you a larger database when you're running the deeper analytics on the holistic review of your incidents. A couple more slides before we go into the Q&A. So basically, we get a lot of good feedback from our trials. So it's helping supervisors. It saves a lot of time, and it's also actually cutting some of the loud voices that wants to steer investigations on a certain way. It brings people back to what actually has happened and how we can fix it going forward. Some long-term wins as well. Obviously, we are building an enterprise solution for agentic AI systems, and Incident AI will be part of that. That means it will have legislation knowledge, and time saving is significant when you use Incident AI on a longer term, and supervisors gets the support that they need to be able to conduct and set the investigation for success. And we like to see the repeat incidents drop because we are getting to the bottom of the incidents. Moreover, I haven't talked about how customizable the tool is. So we can, the demonstration was on the ICAM setup, but we can set up for different methodologies, fishbone, taproot, or any of your hybrids is set up. We can set up for your when we deploy. We also have been trialing on a research paper you can find out here. When we also send this out, we are actually framing instant AI differently, which we had a lot of success when we framed it with learning teams. So we can actually take that safety to concept, which is quite impressive, and apply it in a very old methodology of ICAM, and you get a very different perspective on your investigation, which is really exciting. Please go have a read. And data-driven insights, obviously, but we're also working on contextual relevance, so that your organization's knowledge and context is being used as part of the incident. Yeah, recapping, hopefully with using AI tools, you will lose less evidence and get better data early. And the manual, I guess, review of extensive documents by one person is probably not enough, but it's better to get the full picture and go through to the cross-section, and also reduce biases and those loud voices, but try to steer towards a correct data and that's uploaded to the system. How does a success, I guess, path look like for instant AI? You can have basically have a quick catch up to set up a sprint, and we provide 14 days free trial, and then you can decide with your own incidents and outcomes if you'd like to roll this out at your work area. So we have a free trial available as part of this webinar for our attendees today, and feel free to give us a call or drop us a message. On the left, we have the Instant AI website, and at the bottom, we have the form you can fill in to contact us. But also on the right-hand side, you can just book a meeting with me as well if you want to have a chat about it further. And we will send this slide back again if you have missed. Before I go into the Q&A, this is an exciting project that we are heavily working with Christian and Jem. We would love to be in a position to provide these solutions with our partners. We are building the SHMS AI, Field Leadership AI, Critical AI, and Risk Ownership AI. And they will be the agents, enterprise agent solutions that are doing multitude of tasks, helping our people on sites do what they do best, which is actually engaging people on safety culture and leave all of the admin burden to technology.
I think that's the thing that really excites me, and I've shared with a few people, is not, we're not just trying to solve one challenge here, we're trying to solve multiple challenges in an integrated way inside the same system. That's really exciting. Anyway, back to you.
And also, if you're coming to the Queensland Health and Safety Conference in August, please come to our desk. We are the AI sponsors of the conference. You'll have our chatbot actively. You can engage with that on the conference. But also, please add us on LinkedIn. We've been selected as the Hot 30. Only 2 companies were in that this year. So please get in contact if you're interested more about it. Let's get into any questions. I haven't actually had the chance to check.
Yeah, mate, there's some questions there. So I'm sure you can bring up the chat. So yeah, Ben, the first one starts with Ben there from 928, and you can see some of the comments there. Cool. So we've got.
So it took me a while to open the chat. Yeah, I got it now.
All good.